Hey guys, sorry for the terrible lighting. I'm sitting in the parking lot at Walmart. Figured I'd make my video while Brandon went inside and did a little bit of shopping. So, this week we're talking about male role models. And I had a little bit of trouble deciding who I was going to talk about. I noticed that a lot of my role models or people who I really admire are women. I guess as a feminist, it's hard for me to find a lot of guys who aren't, I guess misogynistic in some way. While they don't always mean it or don't always like mean harm or anything, I'm really super attuned to that. So it ends up disqualifying a lot of role models for me. But I thought about it a little, and I did manage to come up with a decent list. Brandon said I should make the whole video about him, but I think there's something a little unhealthy about having one's boyfriend be one's main role model. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't really proud of everything that he has accomplished and sometimes wish that, I had done or will be able to do as much as he has. But I wouldn't call him my main role model, but I definitely do look up to him and I admire everything that he's achieved. Um, I guess for me, one of the things that I definitely want to talk about is I was recently initiated into Sigma Phi Beta, which is the queer allied fraternity that Brandon and I helped to co found a colony of at our university. We're officially a colony now. The five of us that were in the Alpha Pledge class are now officially brothers. And so I've met a lot of great guys through the fraternity so far, and the two guys from the national board have, they've been working with us a lot. Their names are Aaron and David. Aaron's the president of the fraternity of the national board, and David is the director of expansion. And I would definitely say that they're sort of becoming role models of mine. Um, I think that this fraternity is going to do a lot of good for me, and I'm really glad that I'm getting to be involved with it. I'd also say I've kind of talked a little bit before about how Anthony Rapp, the actor who played Mark in the musical and movie versions of Rent, is a role model of mine. He's the reason I identify as queer, pretty much. I first sort of heard about it as an identity for when you feel like your sexual orientation is, a little bit more complex than the words you've heard so far or have been given, um, a little more complex than they can account for. And just as he felt like queer kind of fit him, I feel like it fits me. I read his autobiography. He's really been an inspiration to me. I think a lot of my male role models are guys who are comfortable, not adhering so much to the gender binary. Anthony Rapp is one. I would say that Hank Green, who's a video blogger, youtube.com/vlogbrothers, he does it with his brother John. Hank Green is a big role model of mine, partially because he's a married straight guy who is okay with the fact that, he likes cute things and sparkly things and unicorns. And he has a whole video, I'll link it down in the description, where he talks about, how it kind of bothered him for a while that he was very effeminate and he thought for the longest time that that meant that he was gay, but he wasn't attracted to men. And so he was worried that, oh, I like, what he says in the video, I like listening to the Village People while ice skating. And he was worried that that meant that he was supposed to be with men, but he wasn't attracted to men. And so he had basically decided, he was doomed to a sad, loveless life where he was going to have to be in relationships with men because he behaved in a way that most people considered to be gay. And, he talks about how he eventually realized that that was not his sexual orientation, that was his gender, and that he's just a straight guy who happens to be a little bit more effeminate. And the level to which he's comfortable with that is amazing to me and definitely very inspiring. He's also just an incredibly smart guy, incredibly creative. His brother John is as well. They both talk about not being afraid to be nerdy and not being afraid of just being unashamedly obsessed with things, just absolutely, completely, you know, throwing yourself into a new interest or, a new television show or a new hobby or whatever, being okay with just absolutely loving it and being incredibly excited about it and wanting everybody else to be excited about it too. And that's a big thing for me. I guess I'll also mention I went to a LGBT leadership conference at Vanderbilt University, I guess a couple months ago, and there was a speaker there, Yolo Akili, and he's a spoken word artist slash poet. He's a writer as well. He talks a lot about emotional justice, basically where emotion plays a part in activism. Activism a lot of the time is very intellectual. It's very much about, why do these things happen? Why do we do, X? Why shouldn't we do Y? And, he talks a lot about how important emotion is in these things and how instead of trying to rationalize away our emotions, we need to deal with them. And he's just an amazing poet as well. And he also is, he's a feminist. He's fully aware that the gender binary does not work for everyone. And I think that's the main thing that sort of unifies all of my male role models. They are not afraid to be who they are, even if that's not who society wants them to be. And that's a trait that I try to have myself, but it's definitely hard sometimes. And so those are definitely some guys who help me to realize that being myself does not make me any less of a man. Um, so yeah, I guess that's it. And hopefully this shitty lighting wasn't too obnoxious for everyone. By the way, this is the blindfold that was used for my initiation into the fraternity. And that's what happens when you're in a queer allied fraternity. Your blindfold is also adorable, and you can just wear it as a bandana later. So that's fun. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week, and hope you're having a great day. Bye.